Bob Proctor's You Were Born Rich is an inspirational guide that challenges us to change our mindset about wealth and success. Contrary to what many believe, prosperity is not exclusive to the fortunate few, but a right that we can all access if we understand and apply the laws that govern abundance. Throughout its pages, Proctor teaches us that money should not be seen as a problem or an unattainable goal, but as a tool that, if used well, can transform our lives. In this video, we will explore a summary of the book's main ideas and how we can implement them to achieve a full and prosperous life. Chapter 1. Money and Me. From the outset, the book makes a powerful point. All people are born with the potential to be wealthy, but many find themselves trapped in financial hardship simply because they have not learned how to achieve prosperity. Its purpose is to guide the reader on a journey of transformation, providing a clear and practical plan that will take them from their current situation to their desired wealth. The author compares us to someone trying to solve a Rubik's Cube. We have all the pieces necessary for success, but organizing them can be a frustrating challenge. Throughout each chapter, the book offers principles and strategies that have proven effective for both the author and thousands of people who have attended his seminars. However, he warns that it is not enough to read or memorize information. Real change only occurs when you understand and apply what you learn. The journey begins by analyzing our relationship with money and demystifying the belief that wealth is something negative. We are then invited to define how much money we really need and to become aware of the mental images we create about our financial future. We are taught that we are co-creators of our reality and that we must align our faith, thoughts, and actions to attract abundance. Throughout the book, concepts such as the law of attraction and the importance of taking calculated risks are presented. It also addresses the mindset of winners, who are not drastically different from others, but have learned to apply small but powerful changes in the way they think and act. To reinforce his message, the author tells the story of 8 tycoons who, in 1923, controlled enormous fortunes. However, years later, most of them ended up in ruin or even took their own lives. This story serves as a warning. Knowing how to make money is not enough. It is necessary to learn how to live a balanced and purposeful life. In the end, the book leaves a clear lesson. Money is important and can transform our lives, but only if we understand it and manage it correctly. It is not about waiting for a lucky break or resigning ourselves to mediocrity, but about taking responsibility for our financial destiny and applying the right ideas with discipline and determination. Money, far from being an end in itself, is simply a servant that must be used with intelligence and purpose. Many people have made the mistake of reversing roles, allowing money to dominate them instead of seeing it as a tool to improve their lives and the lives of others. True financial success does not lie in accumulating meaningless wealth, but in understanding that money must circulate to maintain its value and generate well-being. A clear example of this is the story of Mr. Chapman, a man who, despite having accumulated a large amount of money, lived in extreme poverty because he never put his wealth to work. This story illustrates that money kept without purpose is as useless as a forgotten object in the attic. To attract abundance, it is necessary to develop a prosperity consciousness. That is, a mindset in which money is viewed naturally and not with discomfort or fear. Visualizing oneself in possession of the desired wealth helps the subconscious to align with the financial reality we want to achieve. Money does not come by mere luck, but as a result of a prosperous mindset and actions consistent with it. The text emphasizes the importance of not fearing or worrying about money, since fear attracts precisely that which we seek to avoid. Using biblical and contemporary examples, he points out that constant worry about the scarcity of money can lead to a life of limitations, as happened with Mr. Chapman, who for fear of poverty lived in misery without enjoying his savings. He also warns about the influence of other people's opinions, stressing that those who wish to prosper should trust their own intuition rather than be swayed by external pessimism. He quotes Napoleon Hill to emphasize that opinions are plentiful and cheap, and recommends focusing on the inner voice and divine guidance rather than on the noise of the environment. In addition, the text differentiates between memorizing and understanding, pointing out that financial success is not achieved by just reading, but by applying what is learned. It encourages readers to assimilate the content thoughtfully and discuss it with others to reinforce their understanding. Another key point is prosperity consciousness, explaining that everything necessary for success already exists in the world, but it is necessary to develop an abundance mentality to take advantage of it. Examples of great inventors such as Edison and the Wright brothers illustrate that breakthroughs arise when someone acquires the awareness of what is possible. Finally, the text insists that changing the mentality towards wealth is not easy, but it is possible with discipline and effort. It assures that those who achieve this change will attract abundance and enjoy the fruits of their transformation. Within each person there is real power that can be activated by influencing the subconscious mind. This deep part of the personality can be molded through the repetition of thoughts accompanied by faith and expectation. The efficacy of this principle can be proven through personal experience, as each individual must discover for himself the truth behind these ideas. The book seeks to guide the reader toward recognizing his or her own ability to attract wealth by promoting a prosperity mentality. Money should be seen as an ally and not as a problem, since scarcity only exists in the minds of those who accept it. By understanding that abundance is already available and waiting to be received, any mental barriers to achieving the desired wealth can be removed. The chapter, Mental Money, emphasizes the importance of visualization and positive thinking in developing a prosperity consciousness. It is recommended to imagine oneself in possession of great wealth and mentally act as if one already has it, since the subconscious mind does not distinguish between what is real and what is imagined. The author explains that human existence occurs on three planes: the spiritual, thoughts, the intellectual, ideas, and the physical, results. To change material reality, thoughts must first be transformed, rather than allowing external circumstances to dictate thinking. Scarcity is a product of a limited mindset, while wealth arises from cultivating thoughts of abundance. The importance of avoiding negative influences and maintaining a firm belief in prosperity is stressed. It is advised to repeat positive affirmations such as, "I am prosperous," "I am rich," "Money is good," and to constantly visualize the desired wealth. It is concluded that money is a servant, not a master, and that the key to abundance is in the mind. Chapter 2. How much is enough? This text emphasizes the importance of precisely defining how much money you want and what you want it for, rather than simply aspiring to have more. Most people underestimate their financial potential and settle for less than they could achieve. To change this reality, it is critical to visualize a desired lifestyle and calculate the money needed to achieve it. The subconscious works with clear images, so it is crucial to write down an accurate figure based on a detailed list of expenses and aspirations. It's not just about thinking about money, but taking action with a concrete plan. Although debts may seem like an obstacle, there are strategies to improve the financial situation without the need to increase income immediately. The text also highlights the importance of financial security for the family, even in the event of death or disability, and suggests considering life insurance as a tool to ensure financial stability. Finally, it stresses that everyone has the potential to achieve prosperity if they are willing to make the commitment and pay the price for success. The key to a stable and prosperous financial life lies in a simple principle: pay yourself first. Often, people allocate their income to pay bills, debts, and expenses without setting aside a portion for their own future. This approach keeps them trapped in a cycle of economic dependency. To break this reality, it is necessary to establish a financial independence account, where at least 10% of income is deposited before any other expenses are covered. This money should not be touched, but used for intelligent investments that generate wealth in the long term. At the same time, if you have debts, it is recommended to create a debt clearing account, CLD, where 20% of your income is allocated to pay your creditors in an orderly and constant manner. Sending a formal letter to creditors explaining this plan can generate understanding and cooperation. By following this method, the following is achieved. 1. A capital backup in case of emergencies. 2. A solid savings system. 3. A structured program to get out of debt. 4. The peace of mind to manage finances without stress. The goal is to move from a position of deficit, debt, to a position of surplus, where money multiplies instead of disappearing into expenses. This requires discipline and, if necessary, the advice of financial experts. This financial plan not only frees you from the burden of debt, but also opens the door to a mindset of abundance. By visualizing growing income and a prosperous future, you take the first step toward realizing it. The time to start is now. Chapter 3. The Image Maker. The chapter highlights the importance of image making as a powerful tool for transforming life. The author relates an anecdote in which a 65-year-old man, having read and talked about this concept for years, finally grasped it, demonstrating that its true meaning can take time to sink in. It is emphasized that all people use image making, although often unconsciously or negatively. Understanding this skill allows moving from the competitive to the creative plane, eliminating external competition and focusing on self-improvement. To illustrate the importance of action along with visualization, the story is told of a shepherd who praises the beauty of a farm and receives the farmer's response, "I wish you could have seen it when God had it all to himself," highlighting that human effort is key to materializing ideas. The chapter also mentions how all objects and advances have first been born as images in someone's mind, from the first chair to discoveries such as those of Christopher Columbus and the Wright brothers. The story demonstrates that imagination precedes creation and that each person is the mental architect of his or her own destiny. The concept of going to the movies, as Jack Nicklaus calls it, highlights the importance of visualizing success before acting. Nicklaus never hits a golf ball without first clearly envisioning its trajectory, demonstrating how the creation of mental images can lead to excellence and recognition. The author reinforces this idea by quoting Wallace D. Wattles, who spoke of a thinking substance that permeates the universe and that we can use to materialize our desires. The key is to form a mental image of prosperity and believe in it with conviction. Furthermore, it is emphasized that there is no fundamental difference between successful people like Copernicus, Buddha, or Morse and anyone else. The difference lies in how they use their innate mental capacities. Even Jesus asserted that we are all capable of great things if we believe in it. Napoleon Hill, in Think and Grow Rich, also advocated the idea that anything the mind can conceive and believe in can be achieved. However, achieving success requires perseverance. Throughout history, figures such as Thomas Edison and Henry Ford faced obstacles, but their persistence led them to revolutionize the world and receive great rewards for doing so. The final message is clear. Visualizing success, keeping the image in mind, and being persistent will allow desires to become reality. Perseverance is key to achieving any worthy goal, and John Cannery's story proves it. In 1971, John contacted his friend and mentor to express his desire to become a motivational speaker. Although the road was difficult, with years of study, practice, and sacrifice, John persisted. He taped himself reading books, attended seminars at his own expense, and endured stage fright until he mastered his craft. Eventually, he became a successful and recognized speaker in North America. Another inspiring case is that of Paul Hutsey, a manager at Prudential Insurance who wanted to take his sales office to the top 100. Understanding the power of self-image, he decided to see himself and his team already in that position before physically achieving it. By applying this mindset and following his mentor's advice, Paul transformed his performance and achieved his goal. Both stories underscore the importance of perseverance and visualization in achieving success. If you keep the right picture in your mind and work with determination, results will inevitably follow. Chapter 4. You do your part and God does his part. Throughout life, we all face challenges that seem insurmountable and dream of miraculous solutions. We also imagine ourselves living the life we desire, with success, wealth, and happiness. But what if there was a formula to achieve this? According to this principle, there is, and it is based on one key idea: do our part and trust God to do his. Since ancient times, great thinkers have understood that the universe operates under precise laws and that there is a power that flows through everything. Those who have learned to trust this principle have achieved what many consider impossible. Faith is not just a belief, but the ability to see the unseen and trust the unbelievable. A clear example is the story of David and Goliath. While the giant relied on his strength and armor, David placed all his faith in God and triumphed with a simple slingshot. In the same way, if we firmly believe in our vision and act accordingly, any goal becomes achievable. However, many people do not understand this principle and treat God as a servant, expecting to receive without effort. But the reality is that faith requires action. It is not enough to desire, but it is necessary to visualize the goal, to feel it as a reality, and to stand firm in the belief that it will manifest itself at the right time. Faith not only transforms our mindset, it connects us with the right opportunities and the right people. When we adopt an enthusiastic and positive attitude, the universe responds accordingly. Doubters will chalk it up to luck, but those who understand this principle know they are aligned with a greater creative force. In short, success and prosperity are the result of constant and persevering faith. The key is to maintain a clear vision, act with determination, and trust that the universe will take care of the rest. When life gets tough, it's time to push harder and reaffirm your faith in yourself. Dr. Robert Schuller said that hard times don't last, but strong people do. To overcome moments of doubt, an autosuggestion exercise is recommended to strengthen faith and personal confidence. This method consists of speaking to oneself out loud, with conviction, remembering that we were created for success and not for failure. It is essential not to give in to discouragement or negative self-image, but to affirm our connection to the Creator and the power we have been given. Furthermore, it is not about forcing things, but listening to the inner voice that guides with wisdom, even if it goes against what is considered normal by most. Great leaders in history followed their intuition and achieved great things. If at some point one deviates from the path, it is enough to recognize the mistake and reaffirm the positive self-image to get back on the right track. The key is faith, determination, and connection to the higher purpose. Chapter 5. Expect abundance. The human mind acts like a magnet, attracting that which corresponds to its dominant state. The key to manifesting wealth and success lies in expectation. That which we truly expect, not just desire, is what we will ultimately attract into our lives. Without this expectant attitude, desire becomes merely an unfounded dream. The book emphasizes that prosperity begins in the mind. We cannot achieve wealth in the material world without first conceiving it internally. Scarcity is only the reflection of a limited consciousness, while abundance arises when we understand that we are part of a universe of infinite possibilities. An illustrative example is the story of a poor couple who, upon discovering electricity, are surprised by the dim light of a light bulb. Later, a salesman shows them a more powerful bulb, revealing that the same current could illuminate much more. Similarly, our lives can be transformed if we broaden our perception and let the flow of abundance reach us. To achieve this, two factors are essential: desire and expectation. It is not enough to want something, we must be convinced that we will receive it. Many people fail because they desire positively but expect negatively, thus sabotaging their own success. Napoleon Hill summed it up perfectly: whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. Our subconscious mind does not judge or alter our mental images, but materializes what we truly think and feel. By changing our mindset and visualizing prosperity with conviction, we open the way for success to manifest in our lives. The power of thought and expectation. The phrase, "you will become what you think about," holds a powerful truth. Our reality is shaped by our thoughts. If we harbor doubts, we generate negative mental images that the subconscious accepts without question, preventing us from moving forward. On the other hand, by waiting with conviction for the best to happen, we guide our mind toward prosperity. An example of this principle is the story of Pat and John, a couple who dreamed of moving into their own home before Christmas. Initially, John doubted their financial ability to achieve it, but as they visualized their goal and looked forward with certainty to its fulfillment, their mindset changed. They sought solutions, got the right support, and, against all odds, managed to move in just in time for the holidays. Throughout history, great visionaries have demonstrated that faith in a clear image precedes its materialization. The Wright brothers envisioned an airplane before they made it fly, and Edison envisioned an enlightened world before he created the light bulb. Like them, anyone can transform his or her life if he or she follows 3 fundamental steps. Create a mental image of what he or she desires, act with faith, and expect with certainty that it will come true. The central message is clear: we receive not what we desire, but what we really expect. Chapter 6. The Law of Vibration and Attraction. The power of thought, vibration, and attraction. Any idea that a person harbors in his or her mind, whether positive or negative, will inevitably manifest in his or her reality. This fundamental premise is based on the laws of vibration and attraction, which govern the universe and our experience of it. Dr. Wernher von Braun, a pioneer of the space program, expressed in an interview his firm belief in God, arguing that the precision with which the cosmos is governed is proof of a creative intelligence. For him, science and religion were not opposites, but complementary. Science allows us to understand creation, while religion brings us closer to the Creator. Furthermore, he stressed the importance of faith, stating that without it there would be no human achievement. When asked what it took to get to the moon, he answered simply, "the desire to do it," thus demonstrating his deep understanding of the law of attraction. This law, along with the law of vibration, explains how everything in the universe is in constant motion, even what seems inert. Our thoughts are also vibrations, and depending on their nature, positive or negative, we will attract equivalent experiences. An optimistic person, who visualizes success, generates a positive vibration that attracts opportunities and like-minded people. On the other hand, those who cultivate pessimistic thoughts end up trapped in a cycle of negativity, surrounded by unfavorable circumstances. Ultimately, Life gives us the ability to choose our own vibration. Even if someone is trapped in negative patterns, they can change their mindset with awareness and effort. Understanding the law of vibration allows us to take control of our life and align ourselves with the prosperity and success we truly desire. The brain, vibration, and the connection to the universe. The human body is an electrical marvel, and the brain is its center of operations, capable of transforming different frequencies into physical responses. It regulates the functioning of organs and responds to stimuli such as sound, temperature, and thought. In essence, it is a vibratory instrument that operates according to the law of vibration, the same that governs the entire universe. For decades, science has confirmed that everything in existence constantly vibrates. However, most people are unaware of how their own vibration influences their life. Many struggle to achieve good results without realizing that their negative thoughts generate low vibrations that attract unfavorable circumstances. Each person has the power to alter his or her frequency through conscious thought. Two objects with similar electromagnetic fields vibrate at the same frequency and come into resonance. So do the people and experiences they attract. Just as a piano note can vibrate a chandelier, our thoughts generate waves that connect us to related realities. Everything in the universe is interconnected. There are no definitive boundaries between the material and the immaterial, only different levels of vibration. By focusing our mind on a goal with clarity, we vibrate in harmony with the energies necessary to make it a reality. The real difference between human beings lies not in their race, language, or culture, but in their level of understanding. When we understand that everything is a manifestation of the same energy, we discover that the key to our life is in our own vibration. The text explains how our mental and emotional vibrations influence the people and circumstances we attract into our lives. It points out that, like a transmission tower, we emit energy that impacts others, helping to elevate their mood or plunging them into negative vibrations if we do not control our emotions. It is based on the law of vibration and the law of attraction to explain that thoughts are energy that propagates and that people tune into vibrations similar to their own. If someone emits anger and another is predisposed to anger, they will be affected by that vibration. The same happens with positive thoughts, which can attract well-being and success. The text highlights the importance of maintaining a positive mental attitude to attract favorable circumstances, comparing it to an acorn that, when planted, attracts the right nutrients to grow into an oak tree. In the same way, human beings can plant thoughts of prosperity in their subconscious mind to manifest the desired success. However, he warns that constantly switching between thoughts of abundance and scarcity generates chaos and unstable results. In conclusion, understanding and consciously applying these laws allows one to take control of one's life by choosing thoughts that resonate with the reality one wishes to create. Chapter 7. The Risk Takers. This text motivates the reader to adopt a mentality of risk and action to achieve success. It leaves behind the preoccupation with maintaining what one has and focuses on moving forward with courage, seeing challenges as opportunities. It stresses the importance of concentrating on what you want to achieve rather than fearing what might go wrong. Through the analogy of the trampoline, it is illustrated how fear prevents one from taking the leap towards new opportunities, and how overcoming that fear generates satisfaction and growth. It is emphasized that those who avoid risks for fear of failure end up trapped in a monotonous life without great achievements. The text reinforces the idea that all successful people have taken risks, whether they are religious leaders, entrepreneurs, or fighter pilots. It mentions how young millionaires do not see their decisions as risks, but as natural steps toward success, and how the pilots who took the most risks in combat were the ones who managed to survive and stand out. It also analyzes how from childhood we are instilled with a fear of risk by our parents, who try to protect us from failure and suffering. However, human beings are born with a natural inclination to take risks, and it is only through them that they can reach their maximum potential. The text clarifies that risk-taking does not mean acting irresponsibly. It is an act of calculated courage, where a distinction is made between risk and recklessness. Finally, the reader is invited to visualize himself achieving his goals and possessing what he desires, reinforcing the idea that success begins with the right mindset. Risk and irresponsibility are two different concepts that can be confused if not analyzed in depth. While irresponsible people act without thinking about the consequences, true risk-takers make calculated decisions based on preparation and knowledge. A clear example is someone who jumps off a cliff without experience, just because of social pressure. This is neither courage nor risk, but irresponsibility. On the other hand, a professional diver who has trained, studied the conditions and mastered his technique, takes a risk, but does not act recklessly. The same goes for investments. Putting money into an unknown business, motivated by greed or someone else's influence, is irresponsible. On the other hand, those who study opportunities, invest prudently and follow a well-structured plan are taking a risk, but intelligently. The business world also illustrates this difference. Many companies fail because their owners were unprepared, acted impulsively, or underestimated the effort required. However, there are examples like Bob and Pat McCrary, who, despite fear, quit their jobs, prepared themselves, analyzed the market, and built a successful business. The message is clear. True risk-takers are informed, strategic, and persistent people. They are not paralyzed by fear, but neither do they act without thinking. To become one of them, it is key to visualize success, write down your goals, and make decisions based on preparation and self-confidence. This is the only way to transform a dream into a reality. Chapter 8. The Razor's Edge. The text highlights the idea that the difference between success and failure is often minimal, like a razor's edge. Through historical examples and anecdotes, it shows how small changes in mentality and effort can generate extraordinary results. It is mentioned that the line between winning and losing is very thin. For example, in the 1976 Olympics, the winner of the 100-meter sprint was only a tenth of a second faster than the last finisher. Similarly, in horse racing, a slight difference in performance translates into huge differences in winnings. The case of Heinz Dowse, an insurance agent, illustrates how maintaining effort after a period of high performance enabled him to break his own records. Likewise, coach Vince Lombardi promoted the second effort as key in American soccer, noting that games are often decided in the final minutes. Other examples include Milt Campbell, who went from winning silver in 1952 to Olympic gold in 1956 after 4 years of constant training. It is also mentioned how in the film The Razor's Edge, the difference between the lead actors and their doubles was minimal in talent, but abysmal in income. The concept of the razor's edge also applies to business. A mechanic shop in crisis achieved success just by improving its customer service, demonstrating that small details can make a difference. Likewise, improving skills through continuous learning can make a person excel in his or her professional field. In conclusion, the text emphasizes that success is not a matter of luck or innate talent, but of small adjustments in attitude, effort, and mentality. A small difference in action can have an enormous impact on results. The first artificial heart was a milestone in the history of medicine, and its success was the result of the perseverance and dedication of two key men, surgeon William DeVries and engineer Robert Jarvik. DeVries tirelessly practiced the procedure before performing it, ensuring that the operation became almost routine. For his part, Jarvik faced multiple rejections before entering medical school, but his vision and determination led him to design the first functional artificial heart. This achievement not only extended the life of patient Barney Clark, but also demonstrated the power of persistence. Like figures such as Thomas Edison and Henry Ford, DeVries and Jarvik were not noted for their exceptional intelligence, but for their unwavering determination to achieve their goals. The story of the artificial heart reminds us that the key to success often lies in trying a little harder, practicing constantly, and never giving up in the face of obstacles. The concept of the razor's edge is reflected in any field, whether in medicine, sales, or personal development. Small differences in preparation and dedication can generate enormous advantages. Rehearsal, simulation, and constant improvement are habits that can transform an ordinary skill into something extraordinary. The final invitation is clear. Identify what aspect of your life could benefit from this principle and take action immediately. Chapter 9. Don't think backwards. The central message of the text is the importance of looking forward with vision rather than being stuck in the past or paralyzed by fear of the future. It is emphasized that many people live tied to past memories, mistakes, or injustices, which hinders their growth and success. Through historical and scientific examples, the immense human potential is highlighted, underlining that we all possess the capacity to imagine and materialize a better future. It mentions that great innovators such as the Wright brothers, Edison, and Bell succeeded in transforming the world because they envisioned possibilities instead of limiting themselves to what already existed. The text urges each person to reflect on the use of his or her own mind and to free himself or herself from limiting beliefs that hold back his or her development. The mind is compared to a camera that captures images, pointing out that if someone keeps taking the same picture, i.e., thinking in the same way, he or she will continue to obtain the same results in life. In conclusion, the reader is invited to abandon negative thoughts, focus on his or her potential, and clearly visualize a successful future, since what one is capable of imagining, one can also achieve. Patty Moyer first attended a seminar when she was 11 years old, and, by the time she was 15, she was sharing her experience of how a learned teaching helped her transform her academic performance in French. Eventually, he began working in the seminar business, but his attitude changed when he lost a clear goal in his life. In talking with his mentor, he recognized his desire to take a cruise, even though he thought the lack of money made it impossible. Her mentor taught her that she should focus on what she wanted to accomplish rather than the barriers. Following this advice, Patty made the reservation and, unexpectedly, secured the necessary resources. The trip was a success, but more importantly, she learned that by changing her mindset and focusing on what was possible, she could achieve her dreams. Similarly, Bob Templeton, an executive at Telemedia Communications, upon seeing the devastation of a tornado in Barrie, decided he had to raise $3 million in 3 days and in just 3 hours. Despite skepticism from his team, he used the NEXT technique to avoid negative thinking and encourage creative ideas. In the end, he managed to unite 50 radio stations in a marathon that reached the proposed goal. His story inspired thousands of people and was published in Chicken Soup for the Soul, showing how positive focus and determination can make the seemingly impossible a reality. Chapter 10. The Empty Law of Prosperity. Marg discovered the power of the empty law of prosperity at a seminar given by her nephew. Tired of her surroundings and frustrated with her life, she made the decision to change, starting with one small act, getting rid of some old curtains she hated. Despite her husband's resistance, this simple gesture marked the beginning of a transformation. By freeing up space in her home, Marg allowed in new objects and experiences. Little by little, she replaced not only the curtains, but also the furniture, renewing her home and her life. Over time, she understood that the key to receiving what she wanted was to get rid of what was no longer useful, applying this law to all aspects of her life. The teaching is clear: nature abhors a vacuum. If we want new things, we must let go of the old, whether on the physical or mental plane. Indecision and attachment impede progress, but by giving with generosity and trust, we always receive more than we imagine. We hold on to the old because we fear we cannot get something new. This lack of confidence in our ability to change leads us to feel insecure and to accumulate things or ideas, believing that our security depends on them. However, the key to moving forward is to understand that we are unlimited and that, in order to receive something new, we must make space by leaving behind what no longer serves us. This principle applies to everything: objects, beliefs, and even thoughts. If we hold on to old ideas, we cannot make room for new opportunities. Just as a kinked hose impedes the flow of water, negative thoughts such as doubt and fear block our creative energy. To unlock our potential, we must let go of those ties and allow the energy to flow freely. Ultimately, the key to success and abundance lies in recognizing our true potential and consciously working to remove the mental barriers that limit us. Conclusion and main learnings from the book. The book invites us to reflect on how our beliefs and attitudes towards change influence our lives. It teaches us that fear and insecurity lead us to cling to the old, whether ideas, objects, or habits impeding our growth. However, by recognizing that we are limitless and that our true security does not come from the material, we can open ourselves to new opportunities. Key learnings include: 1. The importance of letting go. In order to receive something new, we must let go of what no longer serves us, whether in the material or mental realm. The mind as a channel of energy. Our negative thoughts block our growth. By eliminating them, we allow creativity and success to flow. 3. Faith in our ability. Believing in ourselves and our connection to infinite power helps us overcome self-imposed limitations. 4. Prosperity is a state of mind. It is not just about money, but about adopting a mindset of abundance and confidence in life. In short, the book reminds us that change and growth are natural. When we stop fearing losing what we have and learn to trust our potential, we give ourselves the opportunity to live fully and achieve our goals. And so we would be coming to the end of the video. Tell us in the comments, what did you think of this summary of the book? We want to know your opinion. If you found this content informative, please leave your thumbs up and subscribe, because this way you would be helping us. Thank you very much for watching the video, and we will see you next time.